day. My goodness, I nearly got squashed then. Well, what am I going to do with you all today? I think I'm going to make good use of this sunshine, and I thought we would do a little bit of uphill work. And Poppy's just taking a lot of interest here for some reason with poor little dicky bird there. Yes, I thought we'd do a little bit of uphill work, and we'd go up on one of the higher points. And of course now I'm going to be perhaps treating you with a little photograph or two of what that looks like. But this is Devon. And that means that before we can do a little bit of uphill work, we have to do a little bit of downhill work. That's all part of the fun. So it's going to be a little bit of down into the valley before we can walk up one of the paths the other side. And it's well worth it because there are some really stunning views, and they're looking back towards Dartmoor. I'm not sure it's going to be very clear today because although it's sunny, it's there's quite a bit of thin overcast cloud. Nothing untoward about the greyness above us today, and we'll be looking towards Dartmoor. And if the air's clear, it's a really spectacular view. But if the air's got a little bit of moisture in, obviously the visibility's not so good, and the view will not be quite as clear. That, of course, reminds me of visiting Keflavik in Iceland on one occasion. I've been to Iceland a couple of times with the Navy. Because that used to be a very important point in NATO's anti-submarine barrier in the Cold War. We'll do more on that another time. Hello. But the point is that when you go to Iceland, the air is generally very clear. If it's cold, sunny weather, it's exceptionally clear, to the extent that mountainous territory 30 miles away looks as though it's so close you could just reach out and touch it. Hi there. Yeah, so Iceland, fantastic place.
Sunday. I was going to come back Sunday.
Puppy dog. Puppy, she's pretty old for a puppy.
I call them all puppy, mate.
All right.
My two are 5 and 7. I still call them puppy.
So you're repairing the surface of the bridge then?
Yeah. So the deck.
The deck, yeah.
I had it really.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Came to do some patching this morning, but it wasn't really. It was a bit beyond that when we went and looked underneath and stuff.
Yeah.
It's only plywood.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I watched
thick plywood, but it's only plywood.
Yeah, I watched a bit of that go in with interest. I don't know how old the bridge is, though. Do you any idea?
No, this has only come off another bridge.
Right.
It's better than what's there.
Yeah. Well, nobody's fallen through yet, so we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a little bit sidetracked there because there's some very friendly guys in their yellow jackets have just appeared, as you heard him say, I'm sure, to replace the surface of the little wooden footbridge. Poppy's just she's got a little habit. Shall I talk about my dog's little habit? Poppy's not too sure about motorbikes, and you'll be walking along quite happily, not paying attention rather, busy talking to UK column viewers and listeners, and a motorbike appears, and if you're not careful, Poppy will lunge at it as if she's going to take a chunk out of the bike or the bike rider. She never does, of course, but it's very disconcerting, and I haven't been able to do anything to discourage her from doing this, so you just have to keep an eye on her. When we're walking on the lead, that is. So, of course, when I got to the little wooden bridge back there, that was sort of the lowest point. And I'm now walking up the road to get to another little footpath where we can get away from this little country road, and we can sort of head up into the fields again. Little bird singing there, which is good. And the thing which is just incredible is how much the leaves have all come out. So everywhere now, all the later sort of blooming trees seem to be in full leaf as well, and my goodness, it's fantastic. So I'm just next to a little water feature, which, Pops, let's let you off, that's it. With some beautiful stonework, which was done by the stonemason I think I mentioned in my very first Walking the Dog, because this man produced such wonderful stonework in other places in the village. And there's a sort of little water trough that he made, and that takes a feed off a local stream. And it's a very nice little feature. I've got a tiny little stream running. I've kept quiet, so hopefully you can just hear that little bit of water. And a lot of foliage either side. The opposite side, this little stream is just full of these beautiful ferns. And I'm looking at them and thinking these are sort of new, because I don't remember seeing them from more recent walks, but maybe I wasn't looking so much then. So there's the stream still trickling down, looking very pretty. Lots of wild flowers out. I think it's something to do with the amount of rainfall earlier in the year, that the growth of everything is just prolific. It's amazing. And I think Poppy, go, Green Cross Code. Have I talked about Poppy's road safety inability before? She seems to look left and right to see which is the biggest vehicle coming, and then she's all ready to go. So, but Poppy originated from a very country area, which I think is why she does that. So we're crunching our way up a little gravel path here. It's very pretty. And the water's sort of about 6 foot below me. Some of it is natural stream and some of it they've cut a channel so that it can run at the back of what were in their day new houses in the village, but I think they're pretty well established now. On my left I've got a very nice holly hedge, which is also looking very green and lush, if a bit prickly, but that's fine. And we've got ivy, and we've got various other leaves which I'm not sure what they are. Hawthorn we've definitely got, and some of this is now overhanging the path. And then I can look through a little tiny sort of, what do you call it, a grove? Would it be a grove? Is it big enough for that? I don't know, but there's somebody's keeping bees in there, which is nice. And there's also a lovely wooden bench, which I could imagine to sit on in the evening with a cold glass of beer would be very nice indeed. And that then looks over into what looks like an original farmer's field, because it isn't one of the big, huge open ones. It's quite small. And it's got a lovely hedge all the way round. And the grass in there is pretty long, so I don't think they've had animals in there for some time. And now we're on the back lane. Guess it. Hello. Actually, I'm forgetting something here. Poppy. Yeah, just stay with me a minute, dog. I was going to get a... I've just come backwards slightly because I'm going to... I thought, my goodness, I should be getting a little picture of this one because it's quite spectacular. Let's treat you to that. Having trouble functioning because I nearly took a little video clip there. That's definitely not allowed. I'll show you a picture of a back lane. Let's do that very briefly. Poppy's going to star. Poppy. Poppy. So there we are. You can have a little look at that. I have been doing some work this morning. I was busy working on a little bit of the Green King, which is the series that I've been doing with Debbie Evans. Debbie does most of the work, of course, but we've been looking into King Charles and what he's really up to. And my goodness, he's into every global political agenda there is, while he makes out to the people in this country that he's not politically involved. So if you haven't seen any of the Green King episodes, just have a look on the UK Column website. Just put Green King into the little search bar. Oh my goodness. Hello. We've got a very fine thin dog here who's come lolloping down the lane. Hello. See? Come on, Pops. Come on. So that was fun. I didn't get an opportunity for a picture though because they moved on pretty quickly. So I always like this little bit because there are some beautiful old stables that have been kept in good condition. I'll see if I can just take a little picture. See what these are. They don't, in some ways they don't look very much, but actually when you get close to them, they're very pretty, with the stonework and simple wood doors and things. Yeah, Poppy. That's it. Poppy. We're just crossing over a little junction here, and then we're gonna be heading up a track, and that'll take us up onto the high ground. So if I start wheezing, you'll know that we're hitting the uphill segment. Let's just take a little couple of pictures up here. Let's show you what it looks like. And Mike Robinson will be getting very excited here because we've got a whole selection of can't really see those actually. Let's see, we've got a whole little field full of beehives, so somebody's actually making some honey around here. Yeah, because Mike's always been keen on bees, and I think if he had the right sort of garden, or you need a field, don't you, tucked away a bit, he would be an avid beekeeper. I think I made a mistake actually, because I came out, I put on my UK column hoodie, a bit out of habit actually, but it also gives me somewhere to clip this wonderful little microphone that I use. But of course it is pretty warm, so I think I'm going to be overheating in a minute. And I'll have to see how I rearrange everything so I can still record the audio. Now this is a lovely little bit here because we're into the track proper. So let's have a look at that just so that you can see how it pans out. Just going to try and get the little... Oh, Poppy's going to move out of shot. Let's see. I've noticed many times when I come by. So I think we'll take this little one. It's just a little tiny hole in the wall and water comes through. Not much at the moment, but after heavy rain it all appears. And I just find it a nice little feature to have a look at. So, as I was saying, I'd been doing a little bit of work on the Green King. We've got episode 6 on its way, but we're doing a little bit of editing, and we've got some bits we want to add in order that we're covering what we should be. But in episode 6, we're going to be having a look at the people who are clustered around King Charles. Debbie likes to call them his enablers. These seem to be people under the cloak of the royalty, who are basically facilitating agendas in all sorts of directions. And you have to look carefully, because some of it you could say, well, what's wrong with that? And in other directions you say, my goodness, this is messy, because you've got a mixture of sort of royalty and political circles, and also, if you like, the pop scene. This is just a lovely, very Devon picture. So let's see if I can just capture a bit of this. We've got a sort of pile of sticks on. No, I think we'll try and capture quite a bit. This is sort of typical rolling Devon fields. There's often sheep in this field, but not today. And I'm going to take one more picture back down the lane, because it's rather nice. And perhaps we'll take a picture from the same spot up the lane. So it's not mega steep, but it's steep enough. And this bit has a stream which comes down, so you can probably hear Poppy's feet. And actually Poppy's puffing a bit. But then I think mainly it's probably because she's a bit warm. This little path is very much what I have described, I think it was in the last episode actually, as the green lanes. So I've got a path, a very stony, uneven path in the middle, but the whole lane is probably, I don't know, 10 foot wide. And these were the lanes that we use for moving the animals between the fields. And this one's interesting because there's a lot of old bits and pieces. This one's got a lovely old gate. It's seen better days, but it's still very nice. And now we're crunching up the path. Bluebells and ferns. So I'm getting distracted here because I was talking about the work that I was doing. Where I was coming on to was the fact that I finished that work and had a conversation with a couple of people. And then I was watching the UK column news. Here we are. Interesting little gap. And I watched the news, and of course, it's very heavy. Oh my goodness, we've got sheep. So I think we better do the right thing and just put Pops on the lead, not that she chases sheep. I haven't seen sheep in this field for a very long time actually. So we'll just move up across slowly. And we're gaining height all the time. So in what am I going to say, 15 minutes, and I'll give you a look at some of the more expansive countryside. Let's just get a little picture of these woolly furry creatures. Where are you? We take one up here I don't know how close I can get, so they're all decided to turn away, so we're getting a lot of sheep's bottoms. Oh my goodness. We'll go a bit closer, they'll probably move and we can get something a little bit better. Yeah, so UK column news, which I thought was really excellent. Mike Robinson and Vanessa Beeley and Charles Mallet, covering international and UK stuff. Charles in particular, I was interested in what he was talking about, the police commissioners, and how more and more money is going to the police, but their hours are actually going to be cut down because it seems that at least part of their investigatory function is going to be covered by drones. And I had a listen to the UK column news, and then I thought, well, okay, I need a bit of fresh air. So when some of our viewers say, oh my goodness, the UK column news is heavy, it's true, it can be very heavy, but what are we to do if this is reporting reality? Then we have to discuss things as they really are. We can't actually mess around and say we're going to sugarcoat it somehow in order to make it all palatable for people. We either talk about what's happening or we don't. But I understand that it can be hard for you, and I'm always saying that you should do your best to unwind, and that's why I do what I'm doing now. And my suggestion was, if I did it and you came with me, maybe I could give you an hour of time walking with me to unwind a bit yourselves. I think I've been successful because people are saying that they're finding it relaxing. So that's very good. Now we've come up across this field with the sheep. There's a lot of them. They're going to need shearing at some stage because they've got some big, thick woolly coats on. But what I thought I'd do is just try and capture a nice picture of the wider scenery. So let me see if I can actually do that. Let's see whether I can get I'm just going to try and do something which pans around to give you an idea of what I'm looking at. And okay. See, this is it, isn't it? You see, I'm not walking, I'm playing with knobs and buttons on devices. But I thought I'd just try and give you a little look at sort of what I can see into the distance through the trees. There's all these lovely fields of the rape, which are bright yellow. Causes a problem for some people because they get terrible hay fever. I don't have a problem, but I know people do, so sympathies with you for that. And we're out the sheep field, so probably can come off, I think. And we're here just coming up with the hedge. There's some new wire fence to keep the public footpath separate from the farmer's field, which is fine. The only time you've got to watch it is when there's the electrified fences. I can remember one of my spaniels having a little bit of a snag with that because he decided he was come through this. He was going to get his nose a bit close and got a shock. Poor dog. I can still remember the expression on his face, which was sort of stunned amazement at what had zapped him and why. But he did, after that, somehow seem to sense which were the powered fences, so maybe it wasn't so bad. That was young Dylan. He was the alpha male of the two Cocker Spaniels we had. He was alpha male, lovely dog, intelligent, just a hint of being a little bit devious. particularly if it came to trying to steal food off his brother. And the other Cocker Spaniel was Chester. He was a lovely dog, very friendly, and we always likened him to Tim Nice But Dim from whatever that TV series was. Yeah. And yeah, they got on very well. A lot of people said we were very lucky to have two boys out the same litter. I'm just going to take a little picture here because it's just fascinating. Let's bring some of this beautiful hedgerow into the picture, and the wonderful new fencing that's been put up. Yeah, so two Cocker Spaniels out of the same litter, and they spent their whole lives together with us. They were two black and roan dogs out of 6 in the litter altogether. And oh, they were lovely. Although I'd had dogs as a dog at home when I was a boy, these two Cocker Spaniels were the first two that we had as a family, and my goodness, they changed everything. And we got lots of lovely photographs of those dogs, and it was great. I'm just going to keep taking a couple of shots here because this is another beautiful, beautiful piece of scenery down over this field. We're sort of looking westish. Actually, that's not true. We're looking northwest probably there. And here, the field goes across. I'm not sure what's growing, so let's just take a picture of this incredible footpath. And I don't know what it is. Wheat, possibly. We'll see. I'm going to be quiet for just a couple of minutes because there's very different birds up here if you have a listen. I'll try and do some work on that, but we're up on skylark territory here because we're up higher and it's open. Visibility, that's an interesting one, isn't it? It's not too bad. I think if we're looking towards Plymouth, I reckon we're seeing 20 miles without too much trouble. The moors are there, but a little bit in the haze. So yeah, not quite as good as we'd want, but we'll see. Yeah, it's good. I didn't expect so many of you. I've watched the numbers with interest, and as I posted after walking the dog too on YouTube, I had watched the viewing figures go down at one point, and this is absolutely true. We used to watch this happen when the UK column news was posted on YouTube, before YouTube censored us and deplatformed us for telling the truth about. There's a bit of a puddle there, which Poppy's decided the only safe way to deal with it is to walk straight through. I'm going to go round. Some fairly nice tractor tracks in that. So through this gate we need to go. And it's quite interesting this afternoon because it's lovely, warm, but it's getting a bit oppressive. It's very humid. And I wonder if what's going to happen is a bit of thunder later. We'll see. And now we're as high as we're going to be. And I've got to admit defeat because I'm going to have to take my hoodie off, so bear with me. Wow, a little bit of breeze there, which is really nice actually. That's quite cool. I better take a picture of this because I didn't expect this. What have we got? We've got we got a puddle right the way across the track. And I've done this long enough, done this walk long enough to know that actually this is quite deep. So I'm going to walk right in the middle and pray that this doesn't come over my boots. But I'm not that hopeful. That could have been the last you heard. Oh, well done, Poppy. That could have been the last you heard of me as I disappeared into a Devon puddle of unknown depth. Oh, that's not too bad. I had an inch to spare from the top of my boots. And this bit's a bit muddy as well. If you come along this way and it's been heavy rain, it is a real problem. You need welly boots, really. Yes, 1,000 people. So that's, I'm very pleased about that. So you can imagine that as we're walking across the Devon countryside today, we've got just sort of got a very big crocodile where, like you see the school kids. And there's such an extreme address. I've got the people who've come as conventional walkers and they've got their boots on, and I think there's a man with gaiters at the back somewhere, and they're looking as though they've got their country wardrobe out in order to go for a proper ramble. And then I've got others who are clearly how do we describe them? I don't know. I mean, I'm impressed. There's a couple wearing UK column t-shirts. A couple of the chunkier blokes who presumably never get cold, so they just wear a t-shirt. Well, they have got trousers on, of course. Otherwise that would cause us problems. And a really great selection of people. And I know you come from all different backgrounds because you come from urban areas and rural areas and in between. So I just find it great that you decided to come with me. Wow. See, the thing is that it is difficult to capture some of this because the eye just sees so much more than a camera does, or even a video camera. I don't know whether I remember the figures accurately, but you know, when you've got your camera with you and it's 18 megapixels, or I think some of the high-tech stuff now is up to 40 megapixels. And I think the human eye is about 240, which means what we see is just so much better than what we get through a digital contraption. And I think this tells us something about the fact that we were made by a superior intelligence to AI. But I'll leave you to think about that. Some pretty little flowers here in the hedgerows. Still a lot of bluebells out. It's just great. It's very quiet. Actually, there's a few little white butterflies around as well. I don't know whether I can get a picture of those because they're moving very quickly. Is it too early for cabbage whites? I can't really get close enough to see any markings on them, but they're very small. And there's some others which I confidently say I think are called something greys, but I'd need to look them up. What does it look like, the track that I'm walking along? It's quite, the hedgerows are quite overgrown actually. I expect the farmer will be down here at some stage trimming them back, because some quite big tractors come down this way to get into the fields. And I'm also seeing some other markings here. Let's see whether you can also see them so we know what we're talking about. We've clearly had a few horses come up here, and it's must be a lovely ride to come up over the top of this ridge. Because if you sat on a horse, you'd be able to see over the hedges that I can't see over, and that means you get a spectacular view the whole way along this track. So well done, the riders. I like seeing the horses, and there are still quite a few people taking horses out in the lanes. Most of them ladies, actually, often with youngsters with them, but sometimes it will just be 2 or 3 adults on beautiful horses. I love seeing them. I'm pleased to say that all the local traffic, at least, which knows that from time to time you get horses in the lane, they drive very courteously, and they're always good at giving the horses lots of space when they go past. But it's just great to see them. Not sure I could afford a horse because I believe they're really expensive. Food and medication and all the stuff that horses need from time to time. Yeah. So I'm looking to see what I could give you here. This one's a little shot up onto Dartmoor. So I'm over a gate, and let's just give you a glimpse of that. If the sun was out, it would be spectacular, but it's not going to be. And maybe we can see a little bit of village nestled in the trees. I might give you a little bit. But I do what I do, and I also try and respect the privacy of people. I think I'm building up a little group of people who are used to me being out, and they know I'm recording audio, and if I talk to them I always say, don't tell me your name, and we don't talk about exactly where we are, because I think it's only fair to give people some privacy. I was very sad on Sunday though, because I took out the new audio recorder I have, and something different here. Let me just give you this, because it's just coming into flower, and this is, let's see whether we can get this for you. This is part of the speciality of the Dartmoor area, which is the gorse, and they are just such beautiful flowers, the yellow flowers, that when they come out. So very much Dartmoor and locality. I've completely forgotten what I was talking about now. Respect for people and just keeping a few of the things private. So we're coming down the track now. Let's say it's not mega steep, but it's steep enough that you just need to watch your footing a little bit, because particularly in the wet, some of the stone surfaces have been polished with all the walkers. And let's see if we can get really close to this little flower, because it's just sitting here. See what we can do. They're not fully open, so I'm giving you what I can, which is a look at a close-up look at gorse. Oh, there we go. Nearly slipped. Yes, so I've been really pleased at the way people reacted, but I was really upset on Sunday because it was just a beautiful day. And I came out with my new recording device. and which I'm getting used to. And I'd recorded a bit of bird song because this particular device has a stereo microphone on it, the new one, not the one I'm wearing at the moment. And I wanted to see how it picked up some of the birds singing, which it did extremely well. But then I'd walked on a bit and I'd switched it off. I'd walked on, and then the next minute there was a lady taking photographs by the river. And I started up a conversation with her. She was a really lovely lady, and she said she took photographs and then she shared it on a particular Facebook page. Well, actually, it was the Dartmoor, I think they call it Dartmoor Group Facebook page. And hold on, that's just a little look down the lane. So she would take photographs of fields and the river and whatever she saw. And we had a lovely conversation, and when I said, I'm recording, is it okay to record? She said yes. So this chat took place, and I thought, really excellent, I've got this lovely stuff to share with the UK column audience. And then when I got home, I'd obviously done something, and I didn't have that recording. Oh dear, that was sad. But it taught me something, because I knew what had gone on. I'd been so interested in what she was saying to me, I wasn't really paying attention to which of the buttons I was pressing. And I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So there we go. I'm hoping that at some stage in the future I'll see her again, and I'll ask her if we can talk again. I'll get that little audio clip, because I think you'll really enjoy it. She was a fascinating lady, and it was almost like, we were sort of soulmates really, because she was there taking her photographs to share it with other people, and I said, well, I'm largely taking audio to do the same thing. Good morning, how are you? How's your dog?
Oh, he's good. Yeah, he's good, thanks.
Yeah? I'll just say to you, because it's the right thing for me to... I'm recording audio at the moment. Don't tell me who you are. But
okay.
I produced a little clip on YouTube called Walking the Dog.
Oh, right.
And I talk and reflect on things.
Oh, good
and
stuff.
I meet people.
Oh, let's have a look.
And
yeah, I'm glad the weather's improved anyway.
Yeah, so you're out working and gardening,
There's
doing
always
things.
something that stops you, though. I mean, my lawnmower's just broken down, so...
Oh, okay. What's the matter with that, then?
I don't know yet, but
Right.
there's always something.
Stop running.
Yeah.
Blocked jets. Crappy fuel.
Yeah, I'm keen to get it sorted so I can finish off and go home and enjoy the weather.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you all right for tools?
Got that, I'm good, yeah. That's all I need, yeah. Thank you very much.
Because my
You up on YouTube?
It's just good. Well, my name's Brian.
Yes, I remember.
And my surname's Gerrish, if you can remember.
The dog.
It's just called Walking the Dog.
Oh, interesting.
And I started out just doing it audio.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of people saying they really liked it because they could just be doing something else and listening.
Yeah.
And then a few people said, I can't see where you are, it needs to be video. And I said, no, this is me relaxing, I'm not doing video. But the one that's going out at 11 o'clock tomorrow, I have put some images, but I don't, they're mainly of the countryside and paths, and I'm not identifying anybody or invading anybody's privacy, because I don't want to do anything. But I have been interested at how people have reacted to me, because every time I've talked to somebody who's got a dog and I say I'm recording, don't give me your name, tell me about your dog. They're always really keen to do it.
You just missed him, actually. He was down here about an hour ago. So
who was that?
The dog.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
Can I give the dog's name?
Yeah, of course.
Crumpet.
Yeah. Crumpet, yeah.
Yeah, he's a Dachshund, 3-year-old Dachshund.
Yeah.
He's a very loved member of the family, I would say.
Yeah.
So.
And we know each other because that little dog had a problem, didn't he? One morning, couldn't walk.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I asked you if you could help. But, It was interesting because with it being a sausage dog, we thought it was back related.
Yeah.
So I took him off to the vets, and £200 later.
Yes.
They still haven't got to the bottom of it, quite. But it turned out it was shampoo, which we borrowed from somebody who will also remain nameless. And it hurt his back. So he's okay now. He's all good, but he's staying away from that shampoo.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some of the stuff, the chemicals are very strong, aren't they? And the lady I've just met with her dog, I said, really shiny fur, and she said, yes, that's because she gets a teaspoon of salmon oil every morning.
Tuna and mackerel, isn't it? So, how's your dog doing?
Oh, very well. We're always watching these. Can you see the fur slightly thin on her side? And one man said, "Oh, I'm pretty sure this is thyroid or pre-thyroid."
Oh, really?
But we've had all the tests. Noisy person. We've had all the tests done, and they're all saying the dog is absolutely fine. And so our logic is just, she's happy. Why mess around with her?
That's the thing with animals; they can't talk.
Well, they can. She's telling me now that I've been talking to you for too long, and she wants to go home.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing came up on talking about recording. An interesting thing came up on my news feed about this guy who. Been recording nature for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they compared the soundtrack from 20 years ago to now, A Walk in the Woods, and there's a lot less nature noises there. Like bird song.
Now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I can imagine that's true. All I'll say is the woods around here are still pretty incredible with the noises. Some of the comments that I'd had back in of people saying, "Wow, I really enjoyed this," are living in big urban areas. So a lady in Istanbul, she's living in the middle of Istanbul, and she said, I don't know. No, I don't know. No, and she said, "Oh, it was wonderful. It was just like I was there. I live in this big 20 million metropolis." And there was another one that I was really amused at, which was a lady who, for the second episode, presumably on her phone, listened to me walking the dog while she was walking the dog. I like that one.
Interesting. I mean, I was in the Navy for 10 years, and we did a tour of the Middle East. And when we got to Dubai for 2 weeks, one of the first things I did, apart from going for a drink, was I went to a bookshop and looked at gardening books. Because I missed seeing green stuff, I think it was. And I was reminiscing of, being back in England and, I miss home.
Yeah. Well, when you're away, you do start to appreciate what it's like and how green it is.
Yeah, definitely when you come back as well. You just can't get over how green England is.
There's another lady who I occasionally see walking quite a big chunky dog, and when I spoke to her, she said she'd been living out in Dubai. And I said, "Oh wow, oh sorry, not Dubai, Spain. There was another person who lived in Dubai, Spain." And I said, "I've only been to Spain a couple of times, but I really enjoyed it. And you've come back to all the wet and the cold." And she said, "Actually, we love it because it was too hot to take the dog out. And the sunshine's all right, but after a while." And I said, "Okay, so you're back in the clag of the weather in Devon." And she said, "Actually, we're much happier, and the dog's much happier." So
that's what David Beckham said when he was out in America. He said he missed England because of the changing weather. He said the continual sunshine, after a while, it's not. You don't enjoy it so much.
Interesting. Okay.
Good stuff. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Listen to you online.
Thank you very much. I do drop it. I asked the audience about this because I do drop in from time to time some other little snippets which can be about what's going on or other things that I do.
Would you advertise it in the local press thing?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I hadn't thought about that.
I think people enjoy it if they knew about it.
Yes, I'm quite protective in the way I'm doing it at the moment, because I don't particularly want anybody to feel that I'm invading their space.
No. You do what's right, isn't it, at the end of the day?
But I have been really pleased at how friendly people have been to me, because I always start off by saying I'm recording, and
as soon as you get over that initial I don't know, watching what you say, and then you get into a chat, it's easy, isn't it?
Yeah, and I go through and I edit the thing, and I will always take out anything which I think shouldn't be there. But the audio is just easy, if you point a camera in somebody's face and they don't like it.
No.
And the other thing is that, because I'm all self-taught with this, but getting out, and they call it a field microphone, you go out in the field, it makes you much more aware of the sounds, the clank of a gate, or the fact you're walking on
yes, that's very interesting.
A gravelly path.
Attention to.
Yeah. So sound has got a lot to it, and as I say, a lot of people like it because they can put it on and listen to it while they're driving the car. Whereas if it's a video, of course, they can't.
So walking the dog. If I put in walking the dog,
just in Google. In YouTube search bar, just put Brian walking the dog. Yeah.
I've got an awful memory, but I remember.
And I'd say, next time I see you, give me some feedback, good or bad. I'm pretty tough.
Okay. Be honest.
But I'm involved in media anyway. And some of the subjects we cover are pretty challenging.
We've got an interesting guy who lives at the back of us. I wonder if you know him. He works for.
Oh, do you? Oh, you're in there. Yeah.
Behind me there, I'm the middle one with the wooden gates.
Right.
Behind me there is a guy. He's a nice chap. I don't know him that well, but he built a sound studio, so he had to have planning permission. And you hear him at night, and all he's always doing is on the keyboard, sort of playing
music and stuff.
For testing the speakers or whatever he's doing.
Oh wow!
That's his job.
Oh, no, I'd be really interested in speaking.
I've always wanted to go up and have a look and see what he's doing.
Yeah.
So you hear it faintly, because it's all soundproofed inside. But he's a nice chap. It'd be interesting to know what he does.
No, well there we are. You see, this is the other thing. As I go round, I'm learning things. You fix your mower. I'll see you again.